If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away, listen up. There's a simple daily protocol they don't want you to know about that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health. Up to 88% of Americans potentially suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great protocol is a simple 2-step daily system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. Step 1. Unimate, a powerful yerba mate extract clinically shown to boost mood, increase mental clarity, and support fat burning. Step 2. A patented fiber matrix called Balance. Taken before meals, it helps regulate blood sugar, curb cravings, and support healthy insulin response. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body actually understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, sugar cravings, gut health, systemic inflammation. This isn't a trend, it's a transformation. Start today to reclaim your health with the Feel Great protocol.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Table of Titans. It is Thursday again, and we got so much to cover out here with UFC. We got war still going on. We're going on and off again. I'm not sure if we're going to have a peace deal or not. We got a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening international and also domestically here, where it seems like a whole bunch of retribution is coming back around. Especially for a particular country. It seems to be the pattern for this particular week out there as we get some deportations heading out of the country itself. Plus a whole bunch of other interesting stuff I got all wrapped up into here. So we got to do a little tidying on some of these stories we've been talking around for months that are finally coming to a conclusion. So it should be an interesting show. I got Tron and Space Shot and me, guys. It's Table of Titans Thursday. What's going on, Mr. Tron?
What's up, guys? Patriots are in control. What an amazing week. And DJT doing it again. The straight is open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. And then later on this, earlier today, we had a somewhat official, I don't know if I can believe it yet, but we do have negotiations in place. And even Boss is talking about having a signing in Europe somewhere to make it official. So maybe it'll stick. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But again, going back to that clip, that comes from the West Wing. And Boss is dropping movie crumbs left and right. Dan had Batman the last time. And this week we have a little bit of West Wing. And it was funny when we first watched it, I was like, maybe it's A Few Good Men. It could be The Hunt for Red October. But no, man, this is the West Wing, a television show from back in the day. And this is F around and find out. Boss is not messing around. And you either come to the table to make a deal or we're going to take it to the next level. So we'll see where this goes. Thank you guys for joining us. Hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, hit a repost on my Rumble videos for a chance to win some merch. And let's have a good show, man. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome, Mr. Space Shot.
Yes, sir. How is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? Yeah, very interesting times, and it's pretty funny, right? Like, wait, we're going to block the strait. And they're like, hold on, Donald. No, we're going to block the strait this week. All right, next week, we're going to block the strait. Who's going to block the strait? We're all going to block the strait. Yeah, it's been a blast, but it's interesting. They're getting early on it this week. They're not doing it on a Friday, right? Simply for the price of oil, which, by the way, is down to like 90. Trump said 85, but he said 90 to 95 today. But of course, you know, the oil prices are still, or excuse me, the gasoline prices at the pump, which the administration does not fix or make, are still higher than they should be. So that'll take a little bit of time to come back down. But a lot of craziness and unbelievable type of things that are just coming out these last couple of weeks. I'm loving what I'm seeing here. And we have like an all departments of the government approach as far as dropping proofs to us, it seems, lately. So I'm loving that. But big hat tip to the mods. Do appreciate your help, myself and these guys and others out there as well. Your help is greatly appreciated. And of course, always a big hat tip to Country and the folks over there at Liberty Based News, where we got this show up and running about roughly 8 years ago here on the Patriot news side of things. So I know we got a lot to discuss and a lot of juicy stuff to discuss as well. So back to you, sir, Mr. Hulkinator.
Yes, and Saturday's show should be very interesting. Some of the stuff that I left out that we'll get to. But since we're coming up on the 250, let's just take a quick look around here. Let me hit the little refresh on this one really quick. Just what it looks like down here. I don't know if anybody's taking a look at what the UFC fight on Sunday is going to be. We also have Travis Pastrana jumping the South White House lawn on Saturday. Yes, the Nitro Circus is back. Travis Pastrana plus his 5 friends were all given the authority to go jump on the White House. So they've gotten some of the old Deegan guys and old school guys have been around for a while, and they're going to have a little show on Saturday. So we're waiting to see what's going to come out like that just in a little bit. I mean, the amount that they spent on the stage production, I mean, we're up there on numbers. They're expecting Super Bowl numbers on this particular show for Sunday night. So we're definitely looking forward to it. 125,000, not here, but in the overall area, because they're going to have a place where you could watch it on the billboard. I think they're doing the press conference in front of the Lincoln Memorial. So 125,000 people spectating on Sunday, plus not what's on TV.
Wow, it's going to be crazy. And just a little, not inside baseball, but inside baseball for anybody who doesn't really follow UFC, Dana White came out and said, essentially, while they're doing this and you have the people coming out for their fights, they'll be coming out of, pre-made tents or little areas. But the main event, and I don't know if it's going to be the co-main event as well, but the main event, at least, the 2 fighters will be exiting the Oval Office and walking up to the ring. So that should be pretty cool beyond any of these other things. But dude, Travis Pastrana the day before, what is that, Nitro Circus? I love that stuff. That stuff's crazy.
So this should be definitely interesting and entertaining. They're expecting some shitty weather coming in on Sunday night. So they said the show will go on no matter what. So if there's a storm delay or whatever, the fight will go on afterwards. As long as there's no lightning threats there, they will fight in the rain, is what they said. They said the system is ready to go, is what they said. So,
but the lightning is what you need to go 88 miles an hour. So Doc Brown's there. You got the lightning. I mean, this is really brewing up to be one of those events where we might go back in time. But shout out to Boss for getting this together. I mean, this is something we would have never seen under a Sleepy Joe administration. The mogul, the entertainment action of this. And there it is, guys. UFC Sunday. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and he's also brought back boobs. Boobs are okay now.
Yeah,
so there's your ring girls.
That's good.
We got to see guys' boobs on Joe Biden's lawn there.
South lawn. That's just Easter.
On the South lawn. Yeah, it was just Easter. No big holiday. Nothing religious there about that, having a tranny flashing the boobs. But Hulk, another thing you just kind of sparked my memory, which is weird too, because what they're talking about the fight venue. So they also, this was from a different video I was watching, Sugar Sean O'Malley's coach talking about. He said that essentially he was told, you guys, the fights are Sunday night, but be prepared to possibly fight on Monday, which is weird because, like you said, they were like, yeah, we can fight in the rain. But they also prepped another facility very close by. So maybe that's if there's lightning and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I did hear about the other facility itself, and I wasn't sure if it was an actual fight arena that they could broadcast from to continue fights, because Paramount's got to get their money. You know how that goes.
That was $60 million, dude, for the UFC to set up what they set up on the lawn there to present that to the folks. So just the setting up that one venue, $60 million. They
even got the special gloves. They were trying them out. So just wanted to show you some of that stuff before we get into bigger stories and all that. So just some of the cool stuff out there. And of course, Travis Pastrana will be back flipping out of retirement. So that's on Saturday. And he called his 2 friends Deegan, and I forget the other guy from the Nitro Circus. So old retired guys, so it should be interesting. They're still out there playing. They're all recycled teenagers, so it should be a lot of fun because, we're talking about broadcasting on Sunday night. Not sure exactly what we're broadcasting, but we should all hang out and watch the fights together, right? Am I thinking that right?
We could all listen to the fights together, and everybody, I mean, pretty much everybody has Prime nowadays, so everybody can pretty much watch it for free. And if not, go get the friggin', pay for the subscription for a month, you know what I mean, for Paramount Plus. And there's a lot of good other shows.
Might be able to get a free trial, I think. I think you can do like a week or 2 week free trial. Check that out. You might be able to do that.
Yeah, because we can at least play. I know we can play the sound and we can kind of somewhat commentate during it, but putting it on the screen might give us a little bit of an issue. But everybody can, watch at their own house, and we can be very descriptive. Look at the blood coming out of his eyeball. Ugh.
The other thing they're doing in DC is a 4th of July show that's going to be done out in the water on 4 barges themselves. So they're going to basically restrict all the boaters from the waterways on July 4th. So big fireworks show going on over there. And she's just saying, yeah, because of the humidity, it normally blocks the fireworks show. So we'll see how it turns out for the DC White House after the UFC fight, because they do have some fireworks after the show, so it should be good.
You gotta love that racist comment at the bottom there. having the
go
river
right
closed for the 4th of July is like having a Tyson's chicken closed on Black Friday. Like,
so wrong. Here's another one for you. The French Air Force aerobatic team conducted a major flyover in New York City. So I don't know if anybody saw this. Them cruising along doing the flag here.
What the hell are those Frenchmen doing?
They're doing the whole celebration with us in the United States here. Because the first couple of soccer games are starting.
Oh, true. And rightfully so, they did fund our government for at least for the first few years, for as far as I understand or remember.
So I just thought that's cool. As we get through the 250 stuff, is starting to light off for America. So thank you everybody for stopping by. It's awesome. So that was happening in New York out there. And if anybody didn't see this particular photo, you see this, guys?
I did not.
New?
Huh?
Is it the new one?
That's the new one.
What is that in the back?
So about 3 nights ago, they shut down an entire area. I can't remember what town or city it was in, but where this thing was housed being worked on. And they basically shut down all the lights and everything. And this thing took off at the dead of night. So this is just outside of its hangar. They took a picture of it. So this is supposed to be doing the flyover on the America 250 coming up here the 4th of July. So I think they're hiding it because they don't want anybody to see it until they do it then. It might be Sunday. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure they're saving it for the actual 250 on the 14th on Trump's birthday, which he's going to be 80. Am I right?
46, yeah, 46. Dude, wait, hold on. Before you go, wait, is that a friggin' Photoshop, dude? Because
this thing has been altered just a little bit because the person who took the picture, it was very dark and dim on this, and then they brightened it up and kind of made sure that you can actually see it clearer. But that is the new paint job on the Qatari plane.
Oh,
that's what it looked like originally.
Maybe that's why I saw what I saw. Why that's got a Q on the friggin' back of it.
I don't know if it's a cube.
Look at that.
Yeah, right. That's a, what is that again?
Cube, bro. I just sent you a zoom.
Nah, there's a little logo in there. I see a little, there's something in there.
Maybe because it's from Qatari Airlines?
Yeah,
dude, that's
they better
a
not put
freaking Q, bro. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Tron. Jeez, Tron of all people. I would not think you'd be arguing.
No, I don't want to go full retard, bro. I mean, it's 2026. We are the news now. I'm sure it's a logo of something, but we're not going to go.
It's
they're
got
not
some
going to put
lines
a
on
Q
there.
on president's plane. I'm sure.
Let's ask the chat what their thoughts are on that. I mean, geez. But
yeah, I see where it is. I see where it is, but it's.
Yeah, I need better. I need to actually see the plane before I'm going to jump on that shark.
Wow, that's craziness.
That's the new paint
Air
job.
Force logo. Utah Money Mover said that's the U.S. Air Force logo. Sure, it's shit. Looks like a Q to me. Holy crap!
Yeah, normally they don't have a star in there in the middle or something. I'm just saying. So, all right, we're ready for stories because we danced around the other stuff. Might as well get into some of the important items. We ready?
I mean, that's very important for sure.
Here, I want to start off with the issue with the NFL. If anybody has been following those particular stories and why they're answering questions inside Congress and calling all the people over there, this is basically why they are calling them in front of Congress and basically threatening their immunity about NFL and the things that they're putting together.
Wyoming is one of just over 20 states that lacks a professional sports team with respect to the major North American sports leagues. As a result, our professional sports fan base can be highly fragmented. Additionally, with Wyoming being one of America's most rural states, access to reliable broadband and other forms of connectivity is already a challenge for many of my constituents. Taking football as an example, the most popular NFL teams in Wyoming are the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills, given the popularity of Josh Allen and his time as a star quarterback for the University of Wyoming. Mr. Travis, suppose a Buffalo Bill fan lives in Wyoming, well outside the team's home market. How would that fan access every Bills game during the season at home?
The Bills fan in Wyoming who loves Josh Allen, who I happen to think is the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah, right.
In Wyoming, they may say the best ever. You would have to be an NFL Sunday Ticket subscriber. Now, some Bills games, and this gets complicated, some Bills games would be carried nationally because they are a very popular team. But if you had a constituent come to me and say, Mr. Travis, how do I guarantee that I watch every Bills game? You would have to be an NFL Sunday Ticket subscriber. You would not be able to only buy Buffalo Bills games, which is what your constituent is asking for. They would have to buy the totality of the NFL Sunday Ticket package to ensure that they were able to watch every Josh Allen game.
And the end of that thing, I didn't grab the right clip, but at the very end of the clip, he's talking about on the home team that they just basically spent like $850 million on a new stadium for that team. But the local constituents can't watch the local game, even though their tax money paid for the stadium that the NFL team is playing on. But they got to go subscribe to NFL season ticket to watch all those games that they basically paid for with their tax money. This is being done over and over again in these major cities, and a lot of these games end up behind paywalls, and the government is threatening their broadcast license and their exclusivity of being a franchise for football. So they're definitely asking the right questions, and they want to basically come to the point of how does a regular American citizen watch every football game that back in the late 60s and 70s were free on broadcast TV? That's the point they're getting to.
That's a good point too, and it's what it is. It's coming down to greedy people that are spreading their broadcast to all these different places and saying, well, you have to have a subscription to buy this and to buy this. And I haven't really been following too many sports, only for a little bit of like DraftKings betting, but like to follow some of the games, you're right. You have to go on like, all right, I want to watch this team. Okay, well, I have to go to Paramount Plus on this one. All right, I want to watch this game. Well, now I have to get the ABC one or whatever it is, right? So you basically have to buy all these different things if you want to watch different teams. Used to be able to just watch everything on regular basic TV, 10, 6, 12, but now it's absolutely out of control in my opinion. And I think what it comes down to now, dude, is the amount of money that they're paying these people that are in these sports. Dude, I could not believe what I saw the other day. Like that guy who just got the winning point for the Knicks yesterday, he's not even close to the highest paying person that was on the floor yesterday. I think he's making $42.5 million this year alone. $42 million, and he's not even close to the highest paid dude that's on the stage. And I think that guy's making about $70 million a year to play a freaking game, dude. But then the cost all comes down to the viewers.
Yeah, exactly. Where the money comes from and where they want to spend it. So I just wanted to throw that in there at the beginning part of the story here. Tron, did you happen to see this?
Yes, guys, on Facebook from Dan Scavino the other day. Want to dox my New York home that I'm moving out of now? No problem. I now know who you are and where you live. Not even in the same development zone, you pathetic piece of trash. TikTok. Also to the asshole video recording the moving trucks in front of my home last weekend. You have now been identified as well. Have fun and stay tuned. You don't want to get on Dan Scavino's bad side. And no, this was not me outside taking pictures and trying to archive Dan's move. I was at Ivanka's house in Florida. No, but yeah, Dan is.
He's got nice pillows.
He's got a nice My Pillow set. Dan Scavino going on Facebook. And Angry Dan is the best Dan. You don't want to mess around with him, but I mean, I don't know I didn't know he was moving, but now he tells the world. So it's Streisand effect.
Yeah, you saw that a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah, but it never made its way over to anywhere else. So it's kind of just strange that it was just there,
Yeah, I just thought it was weird that he posts some of these things over there on Facebook. But anyways, The other side of the story, before we get into some of the big stuff over there, hazmat teams responding to the Pentagon.
Breaking news right now in our nation's capital. The Arlington County Fire Department and EMS is monitoring a hazardous material situation at the Pentagon. And we learned this from their social post on X. Arlington Fire and EMS saying that their units, including our hazmat materials team, currently operating at the Pentagon in support of the PFPA's hazmat team during a hazardous materials incident. Now, we don't know what that incident is, but it's the Pentagon Force Protection Agency, that PFPA. So basically all hands on deck right
now. So yeah, they evacuated like 2 rings of this big giant facility, hundreds of people and all that. So yeah, something happened over there. Don't know exactly what's going on over there. Just very unusual activity, especially hazardous material, because the alarms are going off.
Yeah, so I think it was a big nada burger or something that they don't want to let us know about, but
that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, they said it was a false alarm, but this could be preparation for basically anything. I mean, remember in school, the fire drills and all that stuff. So maybe they're just going through the old little trial and error deal there.
All right, let's break the Band-Aid off of this one. You want to take that one, Tron?
Guys, from Boss, no other president has ever been more committed to both rebuilding our great military and saving our great country. And now is the time to make it happen for generations to come. I am hereby calling on Republicans in Congress to immediately advance and pass the forthcoming $350 billion reconciliation bill, Recon 3.0, which at the request of our great Department of War will include the Save America Act as well. No games, no delays, and no weak compromises. Do this as soon as possible. This is a generational investment in our military, even bigger than President Reagan's. Recon 3.0 is the only path to the full $1.5 trillion military budget our warriors need in order to build the arsenal of freedom. We will defend the homeland with the Golden Dome, launch the unstoppable Golden Fleet, dominate the skies with the F-47 and B-21 supercharger ammunition stockpiles, and achieve total Space Force and drone dominance. The budget reignites American industry, creates hundreds of thousands of high-paying American jobs, and secures our global dominance without fueling inflation. Also, the Save America Act, it will protect our elections for generations to come. Our warriors protect our most sacred rights, and voting is at the top. Time to defend that right for every American. Pass all the $350 billion and the Save America Act to secure our nation for our children and grandchildren. And this includes the Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID. That's identification for all you foreigners. All voters must show proof of citizenship, and the illegals don't have that. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or time travel or travel. No men and women's sports. That's always a good one. And New York, listen up. No transgender mutilization for our children. No surgeries. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's DJT, baby.
And I agree with you. You definitely need an ID for time travel.
Yes.
That's definitely 100% true. So those had come out. So he wants to attach the SAVE Act to the reconciliation, which is about to come out of committee because it's the money they're going to claw back from the Democrats, money that they were throwing all over the place under the Biden administration. So they're going to pull that back. And then they see if we can throw the SAVE Act on top of it. Is Thune and the rest of the group are going to allow this to happen? I'm not exactly sure. But this is the point where it would take a simple majority of 51 votes. So we wouldn't need 60 to get this thing basically done. So it's a lot easier hurdle to get over with the amount of votes we're going to need. And JD Vance could come over and be the 51st rule on that one. So we'll wait. That's going to come up next week. So we'll see what happens.
Gentlemen, it'll happen.
What else did we get here? Oh, and they did also, they got the money to fund ICE and CBP all the way until 2029. I think they were using reparations on it or reconciliation.
This morning, I'm thrilled to sign the Secure America Act to immediately and fully fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of my term. So we won't have that to be talking about anymore, Lisa.
No, we will not, sir.
We'll give the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, and that's what they are, they're heroes.
So at the end, they pulled money from the other side so they can actually get this funded without going through what the Democrats are doing, is to my understanding. So we're good on that, and that's what they're going to need, because we got a whole crap load of Super Bowls coming up. And here, just to put this down, they're happy.
It is a huge task, but DHS is up to this. Unfortunately, the radical Democrats put this at jeopardy because they had to shut down as a whole for 76 days, but well over 100 days for CPP and ICE. So listen, we have 78 Super Bowls in 38 days in 11 cities. Most of these cities are having a game almost every other day. I will be in LA for the kickoff for the first game in the United States. It actually starts tomorrow in Mexico City, and we're super excited. We're going to have 5 to 7 million visitors. We're going to show the best of America. We expect to have safe games, but we also know there's bad actors out there every single day threatening us. So we have Customs and Border Protection over 5 stadiums. FBI is over 3 stadiums. FBS is over 1. We have the Coast Guard that is taking 2 different arenas. So we have all of it covered, but it's going to be a lot. For starting tomorrow all the way until July 19th is the first night I think I'll have a good night's sleep.
So yeah, quite a long time as we get these visitors in here. So it's that see something, say something. Drone restrictions over any one of these, including the 4th of July celebrations and all the stuff in D.C. on Sunday coming up here. So huge restrictions on a lot of that. That stuff is coming up that people would like to film that. And obviously, if we're starting to see some nefarious actions, those are the things that they would want reported out there. So it's going to get interesting and very busy here in the next month or so. So yeah, that's coming.
It is a huge task.
That was that. Anything you want to throw out there for that? Because we got money for that. So yeah, this is good things.
It's going to be busy, and you got a lot of people coming in and out, and so we'll see how this stuff plays out. But again, we have a lot of things going on here, right? Like, all this crazy stuff over in Iran, and him talking about hitting Cuba and all these other different areas. Meanwhile, we have this big UFC event and then huge FIFA thing going on there. And the only thing I'm concerned is about any of the possible hooligans coming from other countries that, when they win, they burn the place down, or when they lose, they burn the place down. So, yeah, keep an eye on these guys for sure.
Oh, in Mexico, they're kind of pissed off at the President Sheinbaum there because she came out public and he said she is not going to any of the soccer games, and soccer is a huge thing in Mexico, and people
not
are
even
writing
Israel
about
versus Mexico. That's horrible. Why wouldn't she?
I figured
go
she
to
would
her
just
home?
love it. Do they have their team? Iran made it. I'm not sure about Israel. As long as you're not one of the judges there. Let's go look at some numbers, guys, because CNN's polling and they're asking questions, and they come out with some interesting numbers.
Trust which party more in immigration at this point in Trump midterm cycles? You go back to last midterm cycle where Trump was president. Look at that. Democrats could run on immigration. They were more trusted by 7 points. But after nearly a year and a half of Trump's second term, what do we got? We got Republicans actually more trusted on immigration by 8 points. And more than that, Republicans with a 16-point lead among independents. Republicans would absolutely love the 2026 midterm cycle to be about immigration. The more it is in the news, the better Republicans do compared to other issues.
So when it comes to the voters and they're looking at these two options, what do they want to see from Democrats when it comes to immigration? Where are Democrats failing?
Yeah, okay, where are Democrats failing? Because look at this, you got a 15-point switcheroo, right? Republicans are doing something right in the voters' minds, but more than that, Democrats are doing something wrong. What do voters want from Democrats? They want them to moderate. That's what they want. They want Democrats to move to the center on immigration. Immigration, Dems should move to the center. We're talking about 59% of all voters. But more than that, look at this. There is wide agreement across socioeconomic classes and racial and ethnicity classes. Look at this. 51% of black voters, 54% of Latino voters, 59% of white college voters, and 67%, let's come over to Erica's side of the screen, 67% of white non-college voters all agree they want Democrats to move to the center on immigration. Just 18% of voters want Democrats to shift to the left on immigration. So part of this is Donald Trump and the Republican Party and what they're implementing on immigration, but it's also what Democrats are offering. And at this point, what Americans think and voters think that Democrats are offering, they are offering an agenda that is
So 18% of the Democrats are just crazy loons over there and want to go farther left. Isn't that some crazy numbers out there? So I think I got the voting map coming up here in a quick second. Did I grab it? I didn't grab it right here. Check out this voting map, what we're looking at right now. We're getting to some of the election stuff that just happened here just in a second. But again, between 18 and 2026, you could see it was 214 to 217. So we picked up a lot of the seats over here, but we still got these toss-ups floating around. And then there's about 14 toss-ups, and they think we're going to lose 6. So we'll gain about 7 out of those. But look at the amount of control the Republican Party can continue to hold on to as we roll up to this election. So this is a real positive thing in there, but you could see what the Democrats need to get to 270. So
looks like America's got a sunburn all of a sudden. I like it. Yeah, and dude, even without doing any more legislation or executive orders or anything, just what he did in that last vote was 38-0, 37-0. So obviously we need to shore things up and make it so we do have a more solid election, which I know you have more on this, so I don't want to speak too much more.
I got a couple more pieces in here. If anybody has heard about this judge that was caught on camera having sex inside her judgeship room area with I think it's the chief of police for the local area here. Yelling and screaming, loud noises, those sort of things of that. Anyways, they're trying to impeach her here at this point itself. But the thing that I thought was interesting is she's the judge that's overseeing Roethlisberger versus DOJ in regards to the election issues that they're having down there in Georgia right now, the whole Fulton County and all that. Yeah, she's the judge that's overseeing the whole situation and caught loud camera in a hallway of her having sex with the chief of police out there. So I just thought that was interesting as they're trying to remove her from her particular office because we got nothing really going on over there in Georgia. So these are the two people that got caught. So I won't play you the video, but I was laughing my ass off on how loud it was that they even think that this was possible to do during public meeting areas. Yeah.
He was a screamer?
Loud screamer. So just wanted to throw that out there. The other side of that is the Nazi one. I don't know if you guys heard about that going down in Maine.
Have you gone through? Do you know what could be out there from those text messages?
Well, yeah, of course I know. I sent them years ago. This whole, again, I know what happened. My wife knows what happened. It was long before I ran for United States Senate, and it was earlier in our marriage. The funny thing is, the only reason that story exists is because we did what we thought was the right thing. We entrusted someone on the campaign team with information about our past. We were very upfront about everything in our lives. That person then went and made up more about it and tried to get that story in the newspapers and finally got the New York Times to run it.
Yeah, so they got a Nazi running for Maine here at this point. Which I find crazy interesting. He's the gentleman with the Nazi tattoo on his chest that got basically covered up over there, which I find quite interesting out there because I want to make fun of it because Maine is going to update its state flag with a swastika. Good old Susan Collins over there on the other side of this is going to pick an endorsement up from Trump if anybody's paying attention. So he is watching how the elections are going. And we've seen Susan Collins numerous times throw Trump underneath the bus and the rest of the Republicans out there kind of siding with the way that Alaska votes here at this point because they're so far north, they're frozen. But this is interesting that Boss is going to endorse Susan Collins. So I'm just laughing.
Oh, my goodness.
What a stage we're living on here at this point. She's a sane woman. She's not my best friend at all, but she's a person that never missed a vote in many years.
Oh, wow. Good, dude. Now, I don't remember. Was this the guy, Tron, that it was like what they had messed with the tattoo or they added stuff on?
Yeah, they tried to cover it up, but it was already too late.
But the thing that they put over it was like a fake thing too, like one of those temporary tattoos.
Yeah. Well, they use like a green. Someone was saying that in tattoo, it's very hard to put green over black or any color in that matter. I mean, it's black. It's,
Oh, God.
The Democratic Party, you got to remember, Chuck Schumer endorsed the guy from Maine. So, yeah, Israel First guy endorsed the Nazi dude. So, yeah, it's getting really weird, dude, on the way that the Democratic Party is definitely going. They're definitely crazy and nuts. Into other election problems that we have over here in California, for mayor's office over here, Nithya Raman from the Democrats came out of nowhere because all her votes came in by mail by vote, which I find quite interesting. And none of them came in for Karen Bass, which is also interesting, is they also had a state tax on there that we had to vote to increase the state tax, I don't know, 15, 20 cents on something. And that wasn't to make it very good. But the same people that voted for Raman also voted for the tax also in California. So I find that quite interesting that those two things coalesce as the mail-in votes were counted. And then we lost Spencer Pratt. He is basically out the door here at this point. Now, for the gubernatorial side of the system, we got Jose Becerra and I can't remember the other bald guy's name off the top of my head. I have a brain fart. What's his name?
Is it Bianchi?
No, not Bianco. He's the
Steve
other
Hilton.
guy. Yeah, Hilton. So they're looking at that. So that looks pretty good. Steve Hilton himself says that he has not seen anything that his team would consider foul play in the election system itself. So he's not challenging anything in his particular race for the stuff that he says. But I don't know, weird shit going all over LA for some of those things. So basically, it's going to turn out LA residents face a tough decision whether to elect a communist or a communist. So we're not sure which way to go over here, but yeah, LA is going to lose over there because I think it's going to be their last holdout for slush funds. We know how they handled Minnesota over there with Tim Walz and that whole election, because we are going to have a changing of the guard, hopefully in California. It might be a Republican up there running the governorship out there, but yeah, it'd be a good stronghold to hold the Democratic control over here at LA to hold on to all that fraud and all the other stuff that they wanted to hide in there. So I just find that very fitting of LA of holding on to its mail-in voting.
So
there.
wait, wouldn't it make sense then that the way they're cheating, obviously in this race, is with the mail-in ballots? Now, no one's focusing in on the machines at all. So are the machines good? This is where it's strange, because all these, like Spencer Pratt got eliminated. Like all these mail-in ballots completely dissolved him, essentially. So how are they able to continue to do this? Like, do they already have the mail-in ballots and they're backed up on counting them, or are more actually just being mailed in from people? It just seems so unreal that they can continue this blatant fraud. It's amazing.
Yeah, voter harvesting. So they just make sure all the homeless people, because James O'Keefe got plenty of those videos. I think I've got them in the shuffle.
Campaigning,
Yeah, where they're going through and offering $5 or $10 to vote for something, and just sign your name on there, which your name will write something down, and we'll just add it to the election thing. Or if they say they're not voting, that's fine. They'd rather keep it that way, and it's easier for them to control the vote that way. So James O'Keefe and a whole bunch of the streamers went down there. We're talking to all the people on Skid Row. They go, yeah, it happens all the time. They're always here giving me money. He was here like a week ago doing the whole thing for Karen Bass and giving out cookies and shit. I mean, it's serious, dude. All over that area itself, they're doing this sort of thing. And in case anybody's keeping score, Karen Bass's brother sues Los Angeles after his Malibu home burned down. Oh, yeah, God. That's her brother. Yeah.
He didn't have
that whole lawsuit that they all ran into over there, that everybody's joining up against LA and California for lighting the whole fire. Yeah, it was their fault. Yeah, the Eaton fire that they finally released the video on that shows it arcing and lighting off. And then she told the Forest Service over there to disregard that little burning ember on the side of the hill. Don't worry about it. And then went on vacation. I think Africa for 4 or 5 days. Remember? And then LA burned down. Great times. 7,000 houses all the way to the ocean. It's just great. Yeah. So LA's going to be pretty much screwed
too. In Texas, he was during that snowstorm. Ted Cruz was on vacation, I think, during that or something.
Well, that was the border wall issue that they were saying, and they called him out there because he was out there vacationing with his teenage daughters in Mexico. Yeah, I remember that. What else do we got out there? Oh, look at that. Lindsey Graham's endorsement with Donald Trump. Oh, look at that. He won, so he's going to go to the final round of election time. So we're going to get another Lindsey Graham, and he loves playing golf with Trump.
Do people like him in North Carolina? Is he likable? Like, I don't understand. Like, from our side, we've hated this guy ever since the connections to No Name McStain, the warmonger, Flimsy Graham. He's the rhino that we love to hate, but Man, boss, come on, man. Like, we gotta, I get it, short term, but man, I want justice for Lindsay. I want him to go down. This is too much.
Him and his little fairy wand from freaking Disneyland he went to on Florida. Disney World.
Solo gay person.
Dude, that is so weird. That was one of the weirdest photos I've ever seen.
Well, it is Lindsey Graham, so any photo with him is going to be super weird. But, dude, without Lindsey Graham, we wouldn't have the, let's talk about
Eisenhower Schrader.
Yeah, Eisenhower case, talking about constitutional rights and how, basically you can be put to death if you are treasonous against your country. So maybe he's got a purpose there,
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see what happens. That was on that side. Now let's just get into a quick little piece of the interview over here because they're talking about election issues and we still haven't left that thought process over here. And who's towing the line here? I'm not sure.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
really.
Let's
well, you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
your
about
elections in this country. We're like a third world country. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain.
I know. I traveled all the way to
Wisconsin. On and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr. President,
a country can never be great with a dishonest
press. Listen, we traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
Step on that mic. F your mic.
We traveled.
Oh, it's so great, dude. Yeah, I think the press needs to be handled a little bit more like that because I think they're getting out of control. I haven't seen no evidence. I could point at the Times article about how you fortified the damn freaking election you guys all talked about with Chris Krebs, that most secure election in the world. Yeah, right, my ass.
Bragged about it. Yeah, I mean, that's great, dude. And yeah, they need to. And again, it's never going to get fixed until they start doing the whole, entertainment versus sports type of thing with this, right? Like, if you want to be called news, okay, I want to go because I want to get the truth. You can be called news, but if you're out there purposely swaying in one direction or the other, you get that news title removed, and you can go back to being entertainment news.
Exactly. So it's just showing them, dude, that you can't put up with that crap no more. What else do we got over here? That was the mic piece itself. Now let's get over to what Bill said over here on the Glenn Beck show over here. So I thought it was interesting.
You said you expect people to be charged. Can you say with what? And you feel confident enough you have enough evidence?
I will just say it will be election fraud charges in the next. I hate to put timelines on things, but 1 to 2 months. I believe we need the some of these results to be certified so we can prove some of the allegations. But we will be charging some people. I can't get in too much, and mostly, Glenn. I mean, it's not just DOJ rules, but we also want to protect innocent people. If we get something wrong, we don't want someone to be tainted with the stain of an investigation until we're able to prove that in court. So I can't get into too much, but just know that at this point right now, we're wide open for investigations. If anyone knows anything, direct evidence. I know people have theories and they have ideas, what we need right now are witnesses. If you've witnessed anything, if someone voted in your name and you found out someone voted for you, we want to know about that. If you saw someone collecting ballots in a suspicious way or doing something odd with ballots, we want to know about that. Those are the kind of things we need direct evidence of right now so we can launch into deeper investigations.
So we're waiting for some certified elections out there because California is going to take about 35 days to do there. So they're still at least 2.5 weeks out from being anywhere remotely done. So this is coming out from the U.S. Attorney of California, him saying that, it seems like we're going to have some arrests coming up here. I'm not exactly sure where, but it should be interesting. Hopefully they take care of the Karen Bass thing. That would be really awesome.
Yeah. What do you think the odds are that they got any type of sting operation going on right now? Because some of Spencer Pratt's posts seem to indicate or shade towards that anyway.
What was it? U.S. Attorney also reveals California lets people register to vote. I want to get this out of the top of my head before I answer your question. So in California, you can register with gym memberships, an employee ID card, credit or debit card from a bank, prescription drug label, or an insurance card. Especially if you got the one from California that's free healthcare for the Eagles, you just go ahead and vote for those things out there. So these are some of the things they're looking at. Now, we've seen in regards to election integrity, I can't remember the name of the big head guy the DOJ lawyers had hired over there to take a look at the California numbers. But I did see multiple times of him walking through the $330 million voting center that California uses to vote for its elections. And he seemed to be watching some things out there. Little people were a little nervous out there as they were collecting evidence. No subpoenas or anything like that, but walking around the clipboard, making notes and stuff like that. And hearing this coming out from the attorney for California, it should be interesting. So at least 30 days, maybe 45 is probably right where we're sitting before we're going to see any results coming out of what California is going to be doing. But there's plenty of evidence out there if you just go watch the James O'Keefe channel and his Twitter feed. So that is looking that way. What else we want to get into? You want to take a crack at that, Space Shot? We got 3 of these.
Shoittenly, President Trump, True Social, William Pulte, who is working closely with Tulsi Gabbard, will be taking over as acting director of national intelligence on Friday, June 19th. He will remain as director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency and chairman of Fannie Mae Freddie Mac. Thank you for your attention to this matter, DJT. Boom.
So he'll get 210 days from that particular spot. And the one thing I didn't know is if they go through any confirmation hearings, the acting person has a temporary reprieve of the days that they're physically going and trying to bring in somebody else and doing the testimony and voting and the whole crap like that. So if it took them 2 weeks to do that, that would add on to the top of the 210 days, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know that it could be extended for a short period of time, which they do already have a replacement. It already had been noted today. So President Trump is nominating Jay Clayton, the current U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York.
Boom.
Because we all know what happens in Southern District of New York, the whole Epstein thing down there, and he didn't kill himself, and them hiding all the videos there. Yeah, all that stuff. Space Shot, you read this one down here at the bottom?
SDNY, baby. Big problems early on. Yes. I am pleased to announce the nomination of very highly respected Jay Clayton, former chairman of the SEC and the former head of Sullivan and Cromwell, one of the most prominent and successful law firms anywhere in the world, and the current U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, to be the next director of national intelligence and, importantly, to serve in my cabinet. Few people anywhere in the legal community are respected at the level of Jay. I encourage the United States Senate to confirm Jay as soon as possible. Thank you for your attention to this matter, because if you don't, I'll put in another pipe-hitting acting, and we'll see how you like him banging things around.
Yeah, and I find this interesting, the amount of movement we get out of the DOJ after Tulsi's been replaced. We'll get into some of those stories here, which I find interesting. And again, here, we're going to throw this out because this was the comment from Trump.
Of what's happening in California right now.
Oh, it's going to be a long clip. It says on election integrity, they're doing a terrible job. American people are right to question it. How can we have an audit trail in every other aspect of life, but not in voting? Why is California mail-in voting counting there? So the other thing they're going to be cracking off here shortly, and I think I got it. No, did I grab it? Nope, I'll just keep going with the list. But they're doing something with the U.S. mail over there. They're proposing it out there. But Trump had been talking about that they should go take a look at it, and he's asked the U.S. attorney to go investigate it. And that's why we had that other clip out earlier of him talking about some of the investigation. They're looking for whistleblowers also. Another thing that came out that it says any illegal who attempts to vote in federal elections will now be deported. So that's official coming out on the 9th itself. So if they catch you, you're basically automatically out. No reprieve and all that. So some of the interesting rules are coming out just in regards to election integrity and that. And this is coming out from Just the News because, you know, we had Follow the Pen, the 3 protected journalists out there. John Solomon being one of them for itself. And he made an interesting comment about California because you have people on Skid Row getting charged for flaunting mail.
$2 to sign off on a thing to vote for her.
Yeah.
And so they do this for everybody out here.
Yeah, they come out here all the time. Unbelievable. At the same time, not surprising at all, John.
No, we have a woman who pleaded to doing this, right?
Yep.
And I think the one thing that I've been thinking, again, I can't get confirmation of this, but it looks like that plea is a plea deal.
Yeah.
And usually in a plea deal like that, you cooperate to help expose the other people that were in the machine. And you have to wonder, is the FBI sitting there in the middle of this election collecting evidence? And maybe that's why Bill SLA was saying, I think there's going to be some criminal prosecutions on fraud. I'd keep a close eye on this. I think there is something bigger going on behind the scenes.
That's what I agree with, too. I think there's something bigger going behind the scenes itself, especially the amount of stuff that we're seeing happen in California. So, yeah, big changing in the guard is coming, and I think a little bit of retribution will be seen. But that's my opinion with some of the stuff that I've seen. I'm looking forward to it.
Watch CA, baby. I mean, dude, right there, that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier when I said, you know, do you think that maybe having a sting operation during this, you know, and putting this in, and if they are putting a sting operation out there, obviously we know how it's going to go, not good for them. And if they can make a big, you know, stink about this and make some big flashing neon lights, this would be good for the rest of the country to see this and see it get exposed. And like, listen, this guy should have won right here, but he got it stolen from him. Oh, look, that chart looks almost identical to what happened to Trump that night back in 2020.
We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know nothing about fraud here in California. Everything's on the up and up.
We know nothing.
California is lost. Yeah. So here's the one that they actually caught. This is the lady that they're actually going to charge.
The woman in this California case, she had worked for 2 decades as a signature collector, according to the Department of Justice. In order for these signatures to work on the ballot petitions, different kind of political signature requirements, these people had to be registered to vote. But, you know, that is not often the case down on Skid Row, and that is where 64-year-old Brenda Armstrong would go down to. She was also known as Annika. Federal prosecutors say she would go down to Skid Row, find homeless people, get them registered to vote. About $2 to $3 a pop is what she would pay them, so then they could sign her petition.
The petitioner, Brenda Brown, hands cash money to the homeless person, not only for signing the California.
So she's been charged, and then they're going through the court cases, but there's no pending cases we see coming other than the original charges. So that's why people are some saying that she's possibly some sort of whistleblower talking about who was paying and funding her to do her job for the last 20 years. So things in California they're looking at. This is good stuff, in my opinion.
And you might need to wait for the, you know, like he said, is that what he said? It sounded like he said we need to certify the evidence, but maybe he meant we need to wait till they certify the election.
It's certified the election. You're correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sounds like a sting op to me, bro.
Here's the other side of this thing, too, that I didn't realize how far the Act Blue stuff goes into, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more here. Space Shot, would you read some of this for me, please? Because I don't want to play the 5-minute clip, but this will tell us what's going on.
See if I can do it under 5 minutes. Whoa, massive Democrat Act Blue money laundering scam uncovered. Democrats are pretending to buy $200,000 houses and creating $200 million mortgages, and then laundering the money through wire transfers. This isn't uncommon. They're found all over the nation, ran through Act Blue. And dude, we covered this like a year or two ago, probably. Quote, magic mortgages. Let's imagine you buy a house for $200,000 and it's funded by one of the North American banks. We'll just say Wells Fargo. Please don't sue me. All the records, including the mortgage, the deed of trust, the Alta insurance policy, all of those records are recorded in the county record. And before I continue on with this, Hulk, I'll just also state that William Pulte, being Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, may have some insight into this as well. Just saying. Okay, continuing on. Then, just a few minutes later, your $200,000 house suddenly has a $200 million magic mortgage that comes through. It's nothing but a wire that goes through the title company. There's no lender involved because it's a hard money loan, what they call a cash hard money loan. But because it goes through a title company, there's no notation of who the lender is, and it goes on through the system. Now, what's interesting is, and this is what caught our attention, these are Act Blue officers, corporate officers. Once we found one, it led to another and another and another and a sister and a brother. Okay, wait, I made that part up. So we have them all over the nation, and this one, just small fragment of the human map. You leave this digital dust, if you will. This is one small fragment. This is one of the many ways Democrats launder dark money. And to explain this in very simple terms that makes it easy to understand, Democrats have homes that aren't very expensive. They take out massive loans against these homes. This happens around election cycles. Now they have tons of money for their campaigns. It's fraud. Well, who pays back the loans? Vicious cycle, right? Over and over and over.
We don't have to, because it's probably a hard money loan. So it just disappears. Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. So did you know that they called the Act Blue guys into Congress and started asking them questions?
Yes, I did. I did not get to hear it.
So so this is some interesting things. So Act Blue, remember about almost 2 years ago, their entire lawyer team up and quit and said, no, we're not going to represent you. So let's get into it.
So I do have a series of questions for you, but I want to make sure I'm respectful. Is it Ms. Jones or Ms. Wallace-Jones?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Okay, wow. Okay, didn't expect that one.
So yeah, that's pretty much how it went through the whole thing. Got a couple of highlights we're going to play just as a couple of minutes out here. Let's get into the first one here.
Mr. Garcia in his opening statement said we're here because Republicans are playing politics. Let's be clear. We're here because Act Blue's legal counsel said Ms. Wallace-Jones lied to Congress, willfully and knowingly misled the Congress of the United States. That's why we're here. Oh, by the way, who was the legal counsel, Covington Burling? Who was her counsel? Dana Remus, not some Republican. She was former White House counsel for Joe Biden. That's who said that. That's why we're here. So I just have a couple questions for you, Ms. Wallace-Jones, just a couple. Your board chairman said Act Blue accepted up to 38 million contributions in 2024 that had the signs of foreign origin. How much fraud is too much fraud?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How many foreign contributions did Act Blue accept?
On the advice of counsel.
You can kind of see how it's going to go all the way. Yeah.
There are so many amendments in the United States Constitution, but there is one. Oh my God.
We are going to play her because she does a great deal with him.
Did anyone at the SPLC ever raise any concerns about your practice of funding hate groups?
We don't fund hate groups.
Why wasn't the SPLC, no, you're under oath, remember that. You are under oath here today.
I said we don't fund hate groups.
Okay, except the $4.1 million that you gave to the KKK, the National Socialist Movement, and the Aryan Nations.
Congresswoman Hageman, those are allegations that will be addressed.
You're under oath.
That will be addressed.
All right.
In the criminal case pending against the SPLC.
The SPLC also played a part in funding the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, and you paid an organizer who drafted racist posts under the SPLC's supervision. You fomented the hate, and then you made bank off of it, about $80 million in the following months after that rally. But you didn't just make a ton of money that day. 3 people actually died. police officers and a woman named Heather Danielle Heyer. So from the standpoint of your business model, making money off of hatred, you must say that that was actually a very successful day for the SPLC. Would you agree with that?
SPLC doesn't foment hate.
Well, that day you did. Did anyone...
It's a bunch of that is basically what it came down to. So I wanted to break out the Chappelle out there because, I plead the fifth. That's pretty much what we got out of those group.
Money laundering operations. That's all the Democrats are good at doing, dude. And finally, they're getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And Cash Patel, Rico, this is all about follow the money. This is how they get the mobsters with tax evasion. We're going to get them one way or the other. Discovery, grand conspiracy. I can't wait. This summer of love is going to be on our side, and they're going to suffer. It's going to be beautiful.
So just as a quick refresher out there, FTX, everybody remember Sam Bankman-Fried, Ukrainian money being sent back through FTX and back into ActBlue. That got blown up, and then they were getting a whole bunch of the donations coming in from credit cards into ActBlue that didn't need anything else other than just the number itself, with a whole bunch of foreign donations and all that. So they got definite big problems going on in the SPLC world as they're starting to rip that apart. So we're still months away from anything going down in court. But it is coming. So that's just something to be paying attention to. And again, Trump announces U.S. attorneys are investigating California's election fraud. So we'll see if we get around to it. That's what Bill was talking about earlier. That was out there.
Oh yeah.
What else did we get in here? These little pieces I wanted to get through. More than 7,600 voters have been registered in LA homeless shelters and service centers, with records showing hundreds tied to addresses that offer no overnight accommodations, according to the New York Post Review. This is what the attorney Bill Essel has announced, that he'd be investigating the findings and follow the evidence. So here's what it was. It was including a midnight mission in Skid Row, which logged almost 1,200 voters registration of only having 120 beds. That's crazy, dude.
Sure they weren't bunk beds?
Yeah, they're stacking up all on top of each other. Here's the other part of the clip they're talking about. This is a proposal. It has not been put in yet.
No mail-in ballots. You see that's what's happening in California. They're rigging the election.
The Postal Service proposed a new rule pushing states to turn over their mail-in and absentee voter rolls to the agency. The agency's proposed rule would create a mail-in and absentee participation list. The state would first submit to the USPS a list of voters who are submitting mail-in ballots for that election, along with each voter's corresponding personalized barcode on their ballots. Then the USPS would return a final mail-in and absentee participation list to each state's chief election official to finalize the names of all enrolled voters in the state and the barcodes associated with their ballots. The move is in line with President Donald Trump's March executive order tightening regulations on mail-in voting in federal elections. Voters who receive mail-in or absentee ballots must be included on the final mail-in and absentee participation list, marking a significant change in the rules and regulations for mail-in and absentee voting. The USPS issued the proposed rule on May 29th, one day after Trump-nominated District Judge Carl J. Nichols in the District of Columbia denied Democrats' injunction request against the mail-in voting executive order.
So that's an interesting thing, because if you're not going to participate, then the U.S. Postal Service is not going to deliver your mail to the voting districts. That's the big part of this whole rule, which I think is good. Hopefully they can get this thing in there.
That'd be good. I mean, dude, you remember how bad it was? What time frame was it? I think it was roughly around, it was after COVID, but there was it midterm elections that they were doing where essentially the mailman could see whether you were voting Republican or Democrat on something? I remember by the way they folded it and the way you returned it, people could actually see, or the mailman could see, or anybody who touched that letter could see.
Yeah, that was a handful of different situations where you're right. In the window, it would either have a color or an R or something that would signify what that was before even processing it. So yeah, I mean they went through all the different ways. Even though I'm still waiting for those Chinese watermark ballots to come back. And Boss has a great point. Just go back to the basics. How can third world countries complete this faster than us? We're the best of the world, so we have to show that. And there's something wrong here. So go at it, Boss. Get them.
Yeah, hopefully we could put this together. But it seems like a lot of the stuff that we're getting set up for the next election coming up. No, not so much this year, but 2028 to make sure that thing's fortified. But there's enough effort into this coming election. I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue itself, to be honest with you. What else do we got over here? Oh, we got investigations. So yeah, so Space Shot, we're going to go through some of the problems they're running into, some of these investigations and crackdown. Yeah, here, start off with this one. We got a couple of these we got to go through because it seems like California, the rest of the DOJ is finally catching up and getting a bunch of these people.
Fake news. Dr. Rajiv Buva, sparked a massive 2026 hospice fraud investigation. LA County physician Dr. Rabuya was tied to an unprecedented $71.7 million in Medicare claims within a single year. His name was attached to almost 2,800 terminal patients' claims across 126 California hospices. The average California hospice doctor cares for about 140 patients annually. In 2024, claims with Buva's name were submitted for 2,791 terminally ill patients. So many patients were deemed as needing end-of-life care when they were not terminally ill, they were not dying. State auditors and federal agencies flag any doctor connected to more than a few hospices as a major indicator of fraud. The investigation is part of a broader crackdown on California's hospice industry for billing millions in taxpayer funds for end-of-life care that patients either did not need or never received. Damn.
That's 1 year. Only one case that they went after in 1 year.
Bananas, dude. H-1B fraud ring bust in California. Sampath Rajidi and Sridhar Mada, both 51 of Dublin, California, pled guilty to conspiracy to commit visa fraud. Rajid ran 2 IT staffing firms, S-Team Software, Uptrend Technologies. Mada was the chief information officer at UC Agriculture and Natural Resources in Davis. Here's the scheme. They filed H-1B petitions claiming foreign workers could staff University of California projects. Mada used his UC title to make it look legit. The jobs didn't even exist. Once the visas were approved, they quietly marketed those workers to other employers having already secured the H-1B visa slots on false pretenses. Both face up to 5 years and $250,000 in fines. Sentencing July 30th. Program isn't broken by accident. It gets gamed on purpose. But dude, show me another time in the history of our country where we have seen so much fraud being put out on the table for the whole country and the whole world, for that matter, to see.
Here, read that one for everybody.
Niraj Sharma, a former CEO of New Jersey staffing firm, is losing his U.S. citizenship for H-1B visa fraud. Hell effing yes. He filed 11 fake petitions with forged documents for non-existent bank jobs. He profited by selling fake visas to foreigners, exploiting the H-1B system, and his ass belongs in jail. Absolutely.
So far, India seems to be our winning country so far in these last couple of stories. Wait, we got him. Wait, here, read this one.
Wait, another. Dr. Sheetal Kanar Kumar, Indian origin, OBGYN running advanced healthcare for women in Stuart, Florida. That's where my dad lives. Indicted on 26 counts of healthcare fraud, billed Medicaid, Medicare, private insurers for services never provided, defrauding American taxpayers, convicted on 23 counts, sentenced to prison. Get ready to see a lot more of these cases with H-1B patterns coming to light. Taxpayers are done footing the bill. Yeah, and what do they say, dude? It's like 90% of it is fraud?
Yeah, here's another one.
Lawful permanent resident from India living in upscale Corona del Mar busted for defrauding bank of nearly $100 million. Forged title policies and Adobe, altered metadata, and lied to lenders. Jim Hoff, the Gateway Pundit. Mahendra Makanjani, 44, a lawful permanent resident from India residing in the upscale enclave of Corona del Mar, was arrested this morning on a federal criminal complaint charging him with bank fraud. Makajanyama controlled Cantor Group V LLC, a Newport Beach-based outfit that had a lending deal with a federally insured bank. Under the agreement, the bank advanced nearly $100 million so Cantor could originate or purchase real estate loans, but only first lien loans where Cantor held the top position on the collateral. Instead of playing straight, Makhijani, a subordinate spent months from September of 24 through April of 25 systematically falsifying title insurance policies. They used Adobe software to doctor the documents, making it appear that he held first lien possessions when other creditors were actually ahead in line. They altered or stripped metadata, including by printing out the fakes, rescanning them, then submitting the bogus records to the bank. Scumbags, huh?
Yeah, $100 million. So this is another very ritzy place over here in Southern California. So just like the one they got over the Newport Coast for just like $70 million, this is $100 million. So they're definitely cracking down on a lot of these foreign workers. Oh, wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Another Indian doctor who reused needles on patients, you scummy scumbag. Dr. Meera Sachdeva is one of Mississippi's most infamous historical medical fraud cases. Naturalized citizen from India, sentenced to 20 years in prison as the owner of Rose Cancer Center, she defrauded Medicare of millions by administering diluted chemo drugs to patients, reusing single-use needles, and billing for treatments that were never provided. What a oh my dude! People that went there for cancer treatments,
week, guys.
Diluted chemo drugs. Like, dude, what will they not think of? Like, serious? It's like, well, we get more people in here billing. What else could we do? Oh, we could water the drugs down. Jeez.
Here, you can read this down here at the bottom, right below Kaz, whatever his last name is.
Najetian. I shared this this note earlier today with the entire team at Open Door. Today, we began to say goodbye to our colleagues in India as we wind down our India operations. Our customers are in America, and that's where our operational work belongs.
I just find this interesting. A whole bunch of these people are getting busted. Remember, they were doing the whole fake diplomas and all that. We don't know if they're a real doctor or not. And they came over here and they got accepted into whatever medical practice that they had. And they find out later that they're not very well educated out there. So this is starting to fall apart here. These people are starting to get busted. And some of these companies are starting to ditch their overseas operations to distance themselves from the issues that they're running into. Plus, it's a lot better to operate in America because you beat all Trump's tariffs. So I just find that interesting that some of these things, as we go through India, that was 7 stories just on India?
And dude, it was like, I don't know if it was like $1,400 to like $1,800 that these people were paying to get their fake diplomas in India, and then coming over here and getting jobs that were paying more than $100,000, I think, right?
Yep. And then you had the right people in the particular companies inside the United States that were also Indian born that would accept the Indian workers to come in over and fill positions over America. So there's a lot of those DOJ cases that are going through the court system as of right now. So I thought that was interesting. Oh, yeah. We're just going to play this out here because I ran by this guy, and instead of reading it, we'll just play a minute.
All right, so the state of Texas has a population of a little more than 31 million people. But what if I were to tell you that more than 1 million of those people have come into Texas in just the last 18 months and were the result of the actions of one person? That person being this guy whose name I legitimately cannot pronounce, and I'm not even going to try, but he is an immigration lawyer in Dallas, Texas. And over the last 18 months, he has signed off on 1.1 million H-1B visa applications. Just for context, that is 2,037 H-1B visas that he signs off on every single day. 2,000 people per day signed off to come from India or the Middle East every single day. And they're coming to Frisco, McKinney, Dallas. And let's be real, if you're from these areas, you've seen the demographic shift. You've seen who owns all the houses in these new communities. Well, now you know how they're getting here.
This visa issue. So just to throw that out there, it is happening. So just to put that out there, just in Texas alone, dude, that's That's so much. That's so many people, dude. I can't believe they actually allowed that to happen. Oh. So that's going on. The other thing that also came out here is the U.S. Department of Justice included the University of California Davis Medicine discriminates based on its race administration process. So this is when they were doing the whole, you got to be less white, and they were discriminating against the white people and Asians, and then going after everybody from Israel. This is one of them that got caught in there, that they were basically picking DEI patients over the actual people had the right credentials to go through their medical program here. So they're starting to get smacked down, just like USC and the rest of those guys that all got smacked down from playing partisanship inside California. So that's another one that got smacked on the college side. So just to put that back out there. What else do we got here?
More fraud.
Now this is interesting. What's that?
More fraud.
More fraud. JD Vance and his fraud group, they got a couple of announcements out this week.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And that's one of the angles that we're looking at is the people who committed immigration fraud against our system, and how do we denaturalize those people and send them back to where they came from. There's also, as you know, Will, under the Biden administration, there was a big blurring of the lines between illegal and legal immigration. The Biden administration would often take people who were coming in on fraudulent asylum claims, fraudulent refugee claims, and basically wave the magic wand of amnesty and say, we're not going to enforce the immigration laws against those people. The first thing, and maybe the most important thing that we did in the Trump administration, is that we stopped that from happening. But then you still have a lot of people who benefited from that Biden administration amnesty program. We're trying to unwind as much of that as possible. We've already had some success, by the way, Will, despite the fact that left-wing radicals in the justice system, the court system, have tried to stop us. We have been able to denaturalize and actually unwind that temporary protected status, a lot of those fraudulent asylum claims. So that work has been happening, but it's going to keep on happening so long as Donald Trump is president. I think Minneapolis is the tip of the iceberg. I think there's sort of a good news, bad news situation in that, Will, which, you know, the good news is that we're stopping the fraud that's happening against the American taxpayer. The bad news is that my own children will never be able to attend school at the Quality Leering Center. So, you know, you got.
Oh, quite the comedy there.
Yeah, they're very funny. Some of the other things that we're seeing on the immigration side is that we're getting answers back from the banks themselves. They're getting pressure from the current administration that any illegal immigrants that are currently getting banking done, or new people coming in getting banking done, that can't verify their status, they're having their bank accounts frozen and their money taken, especially if they're on government funding. The other thing that's happening, even in Texas, I heard today that you cannot go to the DMV and register your vehicle if you're an illegal immigrant, and car dealerships are now requiring IDs of the state to go and purchase vehicles. So those are things to stop some of the illegal immigrants. So these are big things that are happening that run through the bank system.
Less incentives to steal and you know, thief our country. This is unbelievable how much money we're just witnessing in small little pockets. Imagine once you all catch it and, you know, put it into a giant pile and give it back to us like Robin Hood. I mean, this is a great step into the future of our country, and this is a good thing that JD Vance is rocking with.
Oh, what was this out here? Oh, yeah, I thought this was interesting because Kash Patel and the group had put out the most wanted fraudsters last week, the top 10 out there, and they already picked up one of them. He turned himself in, which I find interesting. So they're making an announcement out of some of that for money laundering and all that. So that was an announcement here. Also, Todd Blanche had some important things to say too also.
Today we are announcing the indictments of 3 individuals: Maritza Kawik-Koch, her brother, Carlos Agustin Kawik-Koch, and Gladys Marina Call-Chen. This was out of the Northern District of Ohio. All 3 are illegal aliens from Guatemala who allegedly took part in a wide-ranging conspiracy to smuggle more than a dozen children into the United States by scamming the system and exploiting the loopholes created by the last administration. This is one example, one indictment, but it is not unique. there are over 15,500 super sponsor cases that we have identified. 15,500 super sponsor cases that we have identified along with DHS.
Those are cases still ongoing, 15,500 that are currently under investigation and are seeking prosecution for what? Child trafficking.
Heck to the
Did you ever think they'd get around to it?
I thought they would at least try, because, the whole narrative that was set up, where they were just leaving kids in parking lots and not doing background checks on any of the sponsors and whatnot, it was a little ridiculous.
Got a couple of the key points that they're dropping when they're doing this press conference. 450,000 kids were taken by unvetted sponsors under Biden. Some of the kids actually claimed that they were raped over 600 times. A third of all the females were sexually assaulted while being trafficked to our border. DHS found 146,000 kids so far. The Biden regime ran a massive child sex trafficking operation. And I agree with her assessment on this too, with the stuff that we were seeing coming through the border. And I think Marcus should be burned at the stake, in my opinion. But that's my personal opinion.
Literally like facilitating all this crime. This is what the Dems did the last 4+ years. And again, the 16-year plan, thank goodness we are in the great hands of Donald J. Trump. I mean, this would have gotten out of control. But how do you find 146,000? I mean, obviously, this is gang-related. This is money-related. This is deep state action, which we're going to find out at the end of this story. I mean, we're starting at a bottom-up level. This is almost like Breaking Bad. This is getting to that precipice of the finale. I mean, that is a lot, dude. Look at that, over 15,000 cases. This is going to be that D5. And here's what's fascinating. While we're all sitting here waiting for those big, massive arrests, we're getting all these nice little nuggets here that are leading to that big final, hurrah. So let's just keep it going. Cash Patel and team and Blanche so far. I mean, this guy's just knocking things down. So let's just keep on going. Whack-a-mole, baby.
And again, after Tulsi Gabbard left, there seems to be a lot more acceleration in some of these things that we're seeing. So I'm not saying that's good or bad or anything like that. Just find this extremely interesting to see the movement in some of these cases so far. But that's
what you needed for that momentum shift. Like you had Bondi, you had Tulsi, they did their job, whatever. Bongino, goodbye. And now all of a sudden phase 2 kicks in. And then we get a whole new script, we get a whole new narrative that kind of, leads off of what we just previously witnessed.
And we're getting Summer Heat 2.0 coming up this summer. That was announced by Cash and the rest of the group too in the last week. So we'll get those back together. What else do we want to get in here? What was this? Oh yeah. So you guys had dropped this also. I went and checked it out. That the FBI raids Democrat-controlled California assessor's office and assessor's home. They hit a big group out here. This is tax assessors, the one that does all the property taxes in your particular area. This one just happens to be up in San Francisco area. The guy's got like 6 months before he retires. He doesn't care about the case. Says the new guy's going to take over there as they try to shuffle a lot of this corruption and wire fraud. This is enough to get the FBI to knock on that guy's door that's been there for the last 20, 30 years. And the two underlings hit their homes at the same time. So we'll just play a minute of this because I don't know, the guy plays it off pretty well, but we'll just kind of give you an idea.
Federal raids in the East Bay today targeting elected officials. The search warrants were for the Contra Costa County Assessor's Office and 2 homes. NBC Bay Area's Valina Jones is live in Martinez. And Valina, what do we know about the investigation?
Well, the FBI is telling us this is all tied to an ongoing investigation confirming that they executed those 3 search warrants at those 3 different locations that we know are connected to the county assessor's office as well as their top leadership. More than a dozen federal agents served search warrants around 7 Tuesday morning at the Contra Costa County Assessor's Office, as well as the homes and vehicles of outgoing county assessor Gus Kramer and assistant assessor Vince Robb. Kramer, who denies any wrongdoing, says agents seized his.
So what I think is going on is they're doing probably favoritism on some of the tax stuff and putting liens on the ones they want to and the ones that they don't want to, and give people special breaks on taxes because he seems to be this all controlling type person up there in this Bay Area itself. So a lot of people are surprised that this guy got busted. He's been busted before doing weird shit before. So he's got a history out there. But yeah, this is another big bust and crime that they're investigating with the DOJ. So we'll find out a little bit more here later. But these are pretty big cases if you're going after the assessor's office that does taxes for San Francisco.
Loving it, dude. We're seeing more, like, dude, everywhere you turn, like, as soon as you turn on the internet, the TV, the news, whatever, it's like, oh, fraud found over here, fraud found over here, and in many different areas in many different states. And, they haven't even hit, New York. Rhode Island's going to be a beauty when you go through that, I guarantee you. For our small little state, you watch the fraud that comes out of my state. It's going to be huge.
Exactly. Here's another. Oh, that was our controller guy that we just covered over there. The other thing that just happened, because I talked about last week that Hawaii got canceled off the Medicaid list, so they can't do funding out to through Medicaid to get reimbursement for obviously legal services. For the illegal immigrants, the White House has issued a scathing message to Los Angeles as it pulls the plug on the funding of the city's largest homeless agency. They pulled back like $1 billion they want from the Medicare California, and also are going through these individual NGOs that are offering rebates and housing for illegal immigrants. And of course, they're making huge money off of it. They just basically cut the nuts off of the biggest one here in LA. It says you will no longer get any federal funds whatsoever. So this is going to be interesting on how they're going to continue to facilitate some of these homeless frauds in there when they're starting to cut the money funding out of some of these groups. This is only one out of many that are coming out there. So it's interesting, especially being in LA again.
If we keep taking away all of their fraud money, then they're not going to have enough money to cheat on the elections. I mean, come on, man.
Maybe.
I mean, dude, they're hurting them everywhere, and that's where it takes the pocket, to stop the funding, the riots, the rallies, this, that, and the other.
Did Vance say this?
I guess now I can make a bit of breaking news because I left the White House to come here to do this interview with you. And before I did, we actually referred this particular case to the Department of Justice for a full criminal investigation. We are not going to do what the Biden administration did and make judgments of the law before all the facts are in. But here's what's particularly troubling about this to me is Jesse, you had people within Governor Walz's office who were saying, you know what, this looks like fraud. It looks like these Somalian illegal immigrants are doing something that's very shady. And then you had people who shut them down, who shut these whistleblowers down and said, you're a racist or you're a xenophobe for asking questions about where taxpayer money is going. What that means to me, Jesse, is that clearly people weren't taking fraud seriously. Whether it rises to the level of a criminal violation, we're going to investigate it. And of course, if it does rise to that level, we're going to prosecute it. We have to.
So Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison both received endorsements to the DOJ for prosecution itself as they're continued on with the fraud that's going on inside the state there. So just remember, because they did the whole thing in Congress. They had a commission, then they had them come in and testify, and Tim Walz looked like an asshole on stage there. But they did give out their testimony out there, and then Trump appointed J.D. Vance as head of fraud. They went after and looked at what was going into Minnesota and California, and it now has said that he's turned over his list because he got it all from the Senate and Grassley and all those guys. I got my investigation together. It's good. I think we need to go send it over to Todd Blanchard, DOJ, and go after those guys. So maybe a month, 45 days, we might hear a little bit of response out of this. So this is also new for this week also. So yeah, we got some endorsements for prosecutions. What do you think? You think we're going to get anything?
Oh yeah, it's coming. And again, the wheels of justice move slowly. When they move powerfully. I think they've been basically running a little covert op on these people, especially in this last election here. But they're making their list, they're checking it twice, and they're finding out all the people that these people are networking with. And then every time they get an NGO cut down, they have to scramble to find more money. And so it's becoming more and more difficult for them out there. And we've seen it looks like they're trailing off. Their last few rallies haven't been all that.
Yeah. they haven't been collecting a whole lot as of lately. They're they're out of money. Just remember Keith Ellison over here for 2018 card carrying Antifa member that was noted in the drops themselves, who's over there hanging out with Tim Walsh and playing cover out there. That were basically, he met with the whole learning group like 2 days before the FBI showed up and raided everybody, and we started hearing about all this stuff. So yeah, Keith Ellison was well aware of the fraud itself. Ilhan Omar had been pictured with Feed the Future dude, who's now going to jail and then possibly being denaturalized and sent out of country after probably 10 years or so. So yeah, it's an interesting thing that's happening in Minnesota, which My Pillow guy is in the lead to take over governorship in the next election. So yeah, it's going to get interesting. If we get a couple of Republican governors in there, just the amount of fraud that could be exposed should be interesting, regardless of who's the attorney general.
And that's the way to do it. I mean, you have to start somewhere. Minnesota, Chicago, LA, New York, throw in a little bit of Oregon, Washington State, whatever. But I mean, Republicans, anyone that works for the people need to be in there, and exposing the fraud can only, put a little cherry on top. So put our guys wherever we need them, especially right now. Boss and team can get all the help we need.
So yeah, he's definitely pointed in the right direction, and we're seeing more than enough evidence out of some of those things itself. What was this? Just a quick minute. I think they're talking about the whistleblowers. Let's see.
Minnesota whistleblower telling Fox she faced retaliation after sounding the alarm about fraud inside the state government, as the White House refers top Minnesota Democrats like Governor Tim Walz for a potential criminal investigation. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin live from Chicago with the latest. Hi, Mike.
And John, there's been a lot of recent developments with the House Oversight Committee releasing their findings. The vice president is calling on the Justice Department to investigate whether Minnesota officials harassed or intimidated whistleblowers. And a state employee tells Fox she faced retaliation for speaking up. Faye Bernstein is her name, a 20-year state employee who worked in behavioral health services. She says she warned state leaders about weak oversight of contracts and grants years before the fraud scandals came to light. Bernstein says she was eventually sidelined, ostracized, and placed on investigatory leave. She told the House Oversight Committee she worked in an environment where employees feared being labeled racist for questioning fraud or mismanagement. Bernstein says that is exactly what happened to her.
Well, thank God we don't have to deal with any of those weird names anymore, because we're back to being gay and retarded now. So those are okay to say right now. So I even heard some of the whistleblowers saying that they're having problems with their houses, loans being freaking pulled back, taxes being added on, just a whole bunch of bad stuff, as much as a state could pressure state employees to keep their mouth shut. And of course, the rest of the group are out there like, you got whistleblowers. We want to hear more of you guys. Come step forward. So we'll see what happens with that. That was like 4 months ago. They asked for a lot of those whistleblowers to step forward. So
they're trying
we'll
to
see what happens.
The Tina Peters, threaten and make people think they're going to get in trouble if they continue to do this. Yeah, pressure is always an effective tool.
Okay, so I'm sure this video is going to be real quiet here. But fraud czar Colin McDonald reveals that any whistleblower who was turned away or intimidated is being invited to expose all at the Trump's DOJ. We will treat you seriously. We will receive your information. We will not run you out of town like what happened to you in the past, because they're aware of some of these people that tried to go up the chain over the state that were railroaded underneath the Biden administration. And they're saying, we're not going to do that to you. We'll give you whistleblower protection status and all that. And then plus, Scott Bessent had also said that we'll give you a percentage of the funds that are being laundered in fraud. You will get, I can't remember what the percentage was. I think it was 10 or 15% or something. But that's a huge difference. Going to make a call about Tim Walz.
McDonald, any whistleblower who was turned away. Yeah, no, you need to get that stuff heard. Absolutely needs to be heard.
What else do we got for you? Oh yeah, I found this interesting right here. Tron, how many citizens did they want to strip citizenship from to be naturalized?
23.
How many did they get?
Oh wait, no, 17. That's 17. That's Q in the alphabet.
I just thought that was interesting.
Wink, wink.
Department of Justice denaturalized actions in various U.S. districts against 17 individuals accused of serious offenses. So we're talking drug dealers, violent crime, sexual predators, fraudsters, all that. Yeah, but they have.
I guess now I can make a bit of breaking news because I left the White House. To
Hey, yeah, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that, JD Jance. We appreciate that. But yeah, we got 17. Why they picked that number? I'm sure there's no coincidence whatsoever, right? Whatsoever.
Clearly, dude. I mean, think about it for a second. And because what I was looking for while you were kind of putting this on the screen is I was looking to see like, okay, is it a bust from like one place? Is it whatever? But it's like they put on the right all the charges, what the different one, past crimes of the aliens who exploited the naturalization process. But so, yeah, why not give 17 examples? Not 10, not 15, not 20. We'll give 17 examples. That makes more sense. Unless.
Yeah, top 10 or something. Come on. I mean, seriously? Yeah.
Unless it's something for us. Hulky, we need to take a pause in the next moment whenever you get a moment for
commercial or something.
We need to take a break for commercial identification. Didn't they used to say that? Oh, used to say channel identification, right? Could have sworn
10 minute or was it 10-second break for commercial or channel identification? Let's see what we got out there. I got a Rumble wallet rolling around in there.
Rumble wallet it is, baby.
Okay, let me press button. Pressing button.
Pressy, clicky.
Let me know when you're good.
Good to go.
Break for 30 seconds.
He almost got killed right before that, too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your own money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're the one in control. And if you ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. Takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code and click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. And in just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Boom.
Break for 30 seconds.
Thank you, audience, for being patient on there.
Channel identification.
Mm-hmm. What else do we got in here?
17.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to throw this out there because everybody remembers the big giant Muslim thing they were building down in Texas. They got kicked out from Ken Paxton. They sued him and turned it around and basically said they could do that. Ran by this little deal here. Space Shot, would you read a little bit of this?
Certainly. A Pakistani imam turned real estate developer just bought a 165-acre former Holiday Inn outside Chicago. Oh my goodness. He's turning it into V Resort Living, a $400 million gated community with its own mosque, school, halal restaurants, water park, golf courses, pools, and marketplace. Oh, 332 furnished units. 332, or is it 322? Skull and Bones, okay. 332 furnished units marked worldwide to Muslim investors. Everything designed so residents can live, pray, eat, and play without ever stepping into mainstream American life. The developer runs a Sharia-compliant investment platform and a visa service funneling people into the U.S. He also operates a retreat in Pennsylvania right next to the Raven Rock Mountain Complex, America's underground continuity of government bunker. In Urdu talks, he speaks differently. He calls business the next battlefield for Islam and sees projects like this as creating the next wave of Muslim leaders on American soil. This isn't just another resort. It's a self-contained parallel community built with overseas capital on U.S. land, openly pitched for non-assimilation in the name of faith-based living. Americans built this country on integration and shared values. Why are we greenlighting massive enclaves that reject that exactly? Who is truly funding it, and what are the national security implications? Tag your reps, demand answers. That deserves real scrutiny right now. Yeah, dude, think about it. You get some of these, all right, you get 165 acres. These people just sit there and breed and breed and breed and breed for, all right, what are you looking at, say, a couple thousand people 30 years from now? You know what I mean? You could be talking tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people, 100,000 people. No problem.
I just find this interesting that this particular pattern is repeating itself again. And we'll just keep an eye on it. But yeah, that's happening over there in Chicago. What else do we got? Oh, we got another one update on stories here. You can read this one too, Mr. Space Shot.
My fellow American patriots, we have 8 scalps. 8 pro-Hamas domestic terrorists from the University of Michigan have been arrested and now have a 10-count indictment for targeting university leaders and businesses with violent threats and attacks. After the October 7th massacres by Hamas, a group of students led a campaign of violence, attempting to pressure University of Michigan leaders and other businesses to cut off all ties with Israel. They vandalized the victims' property and spray-painted their homes with Intifada and Free Palestine. They left threatening notes on doors, broke windows of the victims' homes, and threw jars filled with chemicals while children were inside. Whatever, all these people, 23, 21, 26, 28, whatever, 24... Zainab Hakim and Paige Fayak are facing the most serious charges of witness intimidation, a 20-year felony. They threatened to kill an unnamed student in July of 24 in hopes of preventing the victim from informing a law enforcement officer about the campaign of threats. Well done, counterterrorism. One by one, we will defeat the enemy within. Ugh.
Yeah, so they were doing this stuff. Remember all the dead bodies on there and threatened other people didn't fit into their narrative with threats of violence and all that. So yeah, they got them all, indicted them, the whole thing. Good. So yeah, this is great.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to, be part of our country and live like we do, then stay in your own damn country.
What else did we get here? Or more good news, the terrorist with the big mouth who has been milking American taxpayers since 2014 has a final order of deportation to Jordan. Mohsen Mandawi, I think, is a fake college student. This guy who was always out on the colleges doing the pro-activist side, trying to rally up the people for the anti-Israel, pro-Palestine type of thing. So yeah, he's 40 years old and he's basically getting extradited out of the United States. So yeah, they got him too. So they don't want these people inside of our country doing these type of radical things on the college campuses, radicalizing the students. They're cracking down on these things. So this is another guy who's getting exported out of the United States. It's good.
Yeah. Go away. Come back never.
Here's another one for you. Here, you want to read that?
DOJ, former Utah court clerks, plural, indicted for helping illegal aliens evade ICE. 2 women are faced with federal charges for allegedly helping illegal aliens escape from a Utah courthouse while working as a clerk. Department of Justice announced indictments against Jennifer Joma and Lauren Kelsey Morrow, who are both in custody. According to documents, Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer arrived at the Logan City Municipal Justice Court with an administrative warrant for an illegal alien who was scheduled to appear in court on April 9th of 26. While the officer was waiting in his car for the target to exit the courthouse, Joma and Morrow began, quote, misusing court databases to identify non-citizens listed in the court docket in an attempt to locate the illegal alien in question. They then intercepted that illegal alien, escorted them through the facility, and helped them sneak out a back door before gleefully flipping the bird at a security camera. Short time later, Joma allegedly drove away from the courthouse with 3 aliens in her vehicle before returning alone and going back to work. Joma and Morrow have both been charged with conspiracy to transport and harbor illegal aliens, harboring illegal aliens, and obstruction of proceedings before departments and agencies. Joma has been charged with transporting illegal aliens. They were scheduled to make their initial appearances June 11th. Orangey Hatch, courthouse in downtown Salt Lake City.
So, yeah, you remember that whole judge that was charged for sneaking out the illegal immigrants out of the courthouse. These are the clerks that got busted, too. They're not messing around if you're going to play these games. So I just wanted to put that out there. Surprising there's no replies below it. Thought there was a story with their photos in them. Because, yeah, they're flipping off the actual court cameras right there.
Scumbags.
How stupid can you be? Oh, here's another one as justice keeps going around.
More than 20 suspected gang members indicted on federal RICO charges, part of the Justice Department's 2-year investigation into the Trinitarios' alleged crimes across the state. Federal prosecutors in Boston announcing charges against 26 gang members today, involving 5 murders and 19 attempted murders over the past decade in Essex County. Over the past 2 years, 56 members have been charged in 11 murders and 30 attempted murders dating back to 2017.
The defendants charged today are
the biggest thing is the RICO charges. That's running out of Massachusetts as they start to take a lot of these gang members down, narco terrorists and whatnot. So just wanted to throw some of those little pieces out there that they're still going after these big gang members that are in these criminal investigations. It's all kind of falling apart.
Yeah, we got our sanctuary cities over there in Massachusetts as well. And dude, they must be like really bad shots. 19 attempted murders? I don't see one murder on the thing there.
Boston announces RICO charges against 26 illegal gang members. Is that what she said over here? 19? Nope, this is a different one over there. They're doing this too. So there's a whole nother list of FBI rapid response they're showing here. So justice is still being served in America, guys. What else do we got here? We'll skip her. Going to this guy. Hey, you remember this guy that shot the 2 people in Tim Walsh area over there, and they were kind of associated with the shooting of the 2 Congress members with Keith Ellison out there? You guys all remember that story itself. I didn't realize they actually charged the cop with it. Did you hear about this story?
Was this the guy that Walls told to do this or something, right?
Yeah. Here, we'll go to the tape.
I'll be the only one speaking this morning, and then I'll be happy to take the questions that you may have thereafter. Political violence is a scourge plaguing America in our times. The murders of Speaker of the House, Melissa Hortman, and Mark Hortman, shooting of Senator John Hoffman and Yvette Hoffman, and the attempted shooting of Hope Hoffman are among the worst political violence crimes that we have seen. Today, the United States achieved the admissions and the agreement necessary for the perpetrator of those crimes to spend the rest of his life in prison without possibility of release. Those that would commit political violence at any level should take heed. The Department of Justice will seek and obtain.
Enough of your blowharding here. He was an ex-officer. Did he get in here? Yeah, Vance Bolter took a plea deal for the murdering of Rep. Melissa Hartman and the rest of the group out there, attempting to shoot their daughter. Also, the plea deal includes Bolter serving 2 life sentences and 40 years on top of that in exchange for government not seeking the death penalty. Plea deal. I wonder what he copped to. And if you're doing a plea deal, were you ratting on somebody else like Keith Ellison and the rest of the group over there? Maybe.
Or what's his name there? Jazz hands, Richard Simmons, Waltz.
Richard Simmons.
Jazz hand Richard Simmons.
Here's another thing, because they're trying to really push FISA through the government right now is not changing anything, which technically runs out on Friday if they don't get a vote through. So I'm not sure if any of you guys were following that. They were trying to do it like a 2 or 3 week reprieve, but the Democrats have basically shot that down. So we've had Trump, who got weaponized due to FISA, and they spied on him and the whole corruption in the FISA court, all that stuff that we followed there. I find it still strangely deal that he still wants to do a clean FISA, because obviously we've got a lot of issues with transnational games terrorists, And of course, the whole Olympics and this soccer thing that's coming up here. So I can understand him wanting to continue to use the FISA thing itself and maybe change it later. But we even got Scott Bezzett on the FISA deal saying that we should be doing it and doing a clean FISA authorization so we keep spying on America. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. I'm not a big fan of it. But yeah, it is what it is.
Wait, why would Trump want to keep the FISA stuff going while the Democrats would want to shut it down right now?
Well, FISA does go both ways if you're referring to that.
I am referring to that. And yes, I think they don't want it because they want to shut off any capabilities they have of spying domestically on their operations.
Just remember, it's already continuing. They're already spying. I mean, it just ends on Friday. There's some other tools that they could use, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult, supposedly. But we know how well our government adheres to rules and regulations, right? They do a great job at it.
Like Sally Yates says, right? By the book.
By the book. Let's write an email. What else do we got? Inflation is rising over here as we come back up. So we're starting to see some of that go out there, even though we're seeing the United States is the number one exporter of oil with the amount of oil that's coming into the United States, from Venezuela and what we got from Iran, saying we got 200 ships of oil out there. Here it's more like 20. But again, oil's oil here at this point as they start to take out some of the black feet and whatever. But we do see this wipeout of the market in the last couple of days. I'm sure Tron could speak about that. We lost a couple of trillion just in gold markets and whatnot, just as of recently. But yeah, we got kind of smacked in the face. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, no, everything. You had gold to the downside, crypto to the downside, S&P, everything. As Boss was touting, multiple wins throughout this administration. But this is how it's been the last, year and a half or so, ever since Liberation Day was called. And again, if you pay attention, Boss says go out and buy a Dell. Dell goes up 100%. Boss had that deal with Intel. Intel's crazy to the upside, and now Boss is talking Iron Dome and building this ballroom, talking about security. So SpaceX IPO is coming out tomorrow. Elon's going to become richer and richer as it goes. So again, space is the next frontier, but the market's absolutely all over the place. But again, if you're in the 401ks, you're fine. But if you're in your bank account with inflation and gas, you're kind of a little bit low. So Boss always finds a way to win, even throughout a little bit of a loss there. But this is setting up to make America great. Market's always good under Boss, and just a little bit longer. Again, announcing this Iran conflict coming to an end. Somehow they're going to have an agreement in Europe where they're going to sit down and sign the final proclamations or whatnot, which will springboard the markets to the upside again. So kangaroo markets the last couple of months and whatnot. But I think we're in good hands. We're going to be okay.
Yeah, hopefully we bounce back as we get out there. National debt is set to rise only 2.4 trillion in the next 10 years. So yeah, just going to keep climbing it out there.
We are still waiting for the credit cards. I don't think that ever. Let me know, guys, in the chat. Boss at one point was discussing capping the credit card interest at some point. Now would be a good time, I think. A lot of Americans are hitting the credit cards.
Well, I mean, even now, he even said it again that, going to have some sort of universal basic income and all those sort of things coming out. He said it again in the last couple of days. You don't need to save for retirement, those sort of things.
Yeah, that was Elon. I mean, well, that's not yet though.
We'll get into what the boss said about that whole thing. Biggest foreign debt holders out there, as you can see. Japan's going to increase its interest rate. It hasn't done that in like 20 years. So up to 1% for borrowing money. They have a lot of our debt just in one big giant fund. So we need to make sure that they stay stable because we need people to keep buying our debt. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there as we got soccer coming out there. So who holds all our debt? And China doesn't hold that much anymore because they've dropped their debt. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Nothing.
I think they're in the other countries.
Up top middle. There we go. It's $376 billion. Well, because I thought we would have been, paying some interest still from our original 1776 loan.
As you get there. Now, talking a little bit more about the AI thing and what I played like last week, Trump said this.
When are you meeting with tech executives about the government taking stake in AI companies, and what could this partnership look like?
About AI? Well, I can say this. We're having a meeting with them. It's an amazing industry. It's bigger than any industry anyone's ever seen. We are leading China by a lot. And, you know, whoever leads that is going to really lead the world to a large extent. That's how big it is. I'm going to have meetings with the top 12 or 15 executives very shortly. And we're talking about giving back something to the public. And if we do that, the public will become very rich, the people in our country, because that's the kind of money we're talking about. And I think they'll do that, and I think it'll make it very popular.
So I don't know if we're going to take a stake in the AI companies, just kind of like how we did Intel and pay dividends back to the American taxpayer. I'm not exactly sure, but this kind of falls into the line of what Elon Musk has been saying about some sort of universal basic income. It's coming, don't worry, save. All the kind of crap we all talk about, because they're also talking about Social Security is going to run out of money 2 years earlier. They just went through the numbers and it came back out again. So interesting things coming out, and I'm not sure exactly where to put it. AI going to save the world? We're going to get robots?
Maybe.
Anybody?
Was it him the other day somebody was asking about or whatever? And I don't think this is it, but somebody was saying, oh, it was during an interview. They were like, why don't we have the AI companies? Was it Katie Couric says, hey, why don't we have the AI companies pay back the national debt?
Yep.
And again,
did say that.
I don't think this will go, I don't think that's what he means, but what would they have to give? Because as far as I understand it, yeah, it's a huge, industry, but as far as I understand, they're kind of all hurting and looking for more money still now.
Yeah, here, you want to read a little bit of it?
Sure. Senior US officials have held preliminary discussions with major artificial intelligence companies about the potential for the federal government to acquire some shares in their firms. Sam Altman has discussed the idea with senior Trump administration officials periodically since the president began his second term, said two of the sources, all of whom spoke on the condition of blah, blah, blah. Altman first pitched the concept directly to President Trump in a conversation in early 25 and has discussed it again. Yeah, exactly. With senior administration officials in recent weeks as a way to more broadly distribute the economic benefits of AI to the public. Or maybe maybe more that they need the money. They need like regulations and stuff kicked down and some hurdles removed for us. While planning is ongoing and details are in flux, discussions have centered on having the firms voluntarily cede the shares to the government, the people said. The returns on investment could then be directed to public purposes, one of the people said, such as distributing a dividend payment to all American households. Deliberations have not been previously reported come as OpenAI and Anthropic prepare for what are expected to be among the largest initial public offerings in history, and as they struggle with public concern over AI. A person familiar with the matter said Anthropic is not having conversations with the administration about providing equity to the government. That's crazy.
So we got Elon tomorrow, and then like 3 weeks later we have Anthropic, who just released their newest AI thing that they're all threatening. Oh, worry about it. It's really bad. Well, they released it anyways. And then you got OpenAI shortly thereafter. So in the next summertime, it's going to get interesting with a lot of valuation being added to the market. Tron, what is that going to go do to the stock market with these three big giant IPOs hitting the market?
Well, I think that's why we saw the liquidation in the crypto. I mean, we saw Bitcoin get to 125-ish, and then everything kind of went down. And now you have this perfect time. You have SpaceX, you have Anthropic, OpenAI, and it's almost like they're reinvesting their Bitcoin wins and their crypto wins back into the market. So, I mean, this is great for the overall market. There's more money flowing through it and whatnot, and there's more opportunities for a lot of us to get involved in this. But yeah, it's going to be an influx into the market, but you will see a decrease in certain areas. Maybe this is why the crypto action was to the downside as well as gold and silver. Because I mean, perfect timing. Boss announces, hey, look at this. We're going to make an announcement, and then SpaceX comes out tomorrow, followed up by these couple of deals with the focus on AI for the future. So let's see where this goes. I am very interesting, though. Yeah.
Yep. As we go change hands today, What else did we got over here for itself? A couple of last international things over here from Secretary Marco Rubio here, talking about Cuba down here because they had been. We had Pete Hegseth go down to speak to the troops down in Quantico and give them the not Quantico, sorry, Gitmo down there in Cuba, give them the whole pep talk out here. But Marco Rubio says today I'm sanctioning Cuba's state-owned energy company Union Cuba Petroleum under President Trump's executive order. For decades, the regime has stolen hundreds of. This is what they're talking about: the $16 billion that the military government has, and they're holding on to, trying to squeeze them out a little bit more. So again, they're going after some of the fuel and the rest of the stuff that's going in the country. So again, more executive orders and sanctions here at this point. So that's going on in Cuba. So they haven't forgot about that whatsoever. And of course, we hit the hell out of Iran with a whole bunch of stuff, which means that we were going to hit them again tonight, which was on pause itself. They were talking about doing some actions on Karg Island. He also had mentioned that 200 ships have gone through the strait. I'm hearing it's more like 20 or 30. It's not as big as they said, but who knows how many actually came through because they're helping out with the oil markets here in the United States. So that's going on. So which means you got the hardliners that don't want to make a deal with Trump, and then you got the other group that is talking with Trump and seeing if we can get the hardliners to settle down. That's what we're basically looking at here at this point because they don't want to give up and they're not going to walk away. But let's see if we get a deal out of these guys. We're hearing it now. I'm not sure if they got too much of it.
Did you hear the one he was talking about? He's like, yeah, we were dealing with this administration and they all died. And then those guys took over and they all got killed. And now we're dealing with these guys. It's like, and you're right, though. They do have a little bit of an issue because you have these hardliners here that don't want to make a deal for any way, shape, or form, but you have other people that do, and then people are even timid to take power there because if they do, they're most likely got a target on their back as well. So it's kind of, they're frantic at this point. But if you listen to the panicans out there, now we're getting our ass kicked and Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah,
what was the other side of that was the 40,000 citizens that they killed from the protesting at the very beginning of the war. Other thing that came out is a couple of reporting hair out of Iran. Women's hair is being sold. They busted somebody I think it was associated with the United States, but their hair coming from women from Iran. They got like 700 hair samples from different people that they were trying to bring into the United States. And they busted them and they said these are all possibly from victims of Iran that were killed by the regime that they're selling the hair off now, which I find interesting out there. Some of those stories are coming out. So, that was the Dan post out there that I played in the beginning. What else did we got? Oh, yeah. A little bit more on Brazil. I think this is his son. His son wants to run itself for Brazil that's coming up there. So they asked him a question.
Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, I can't help but sit here and wonder whether the accusations against your father could possibly hurt you if you're running for president.
The legacy that the current president is leaving to the Brazilian people is misery, a lack of education, and the active support of criminality.
How would you handle your country? That is dealing with narco-terrorism.
I am tired of seeing my country being handed over into the hands of criminals. I intend to toughen the law, build prisons, and keep these criminals in prison longer. President Trump can be sure that starting from the year 2027, Brazil will have a president who is an ally of the United States.
Remember, they had that big giant January 6th down there when his father lost, and Lula, the leftist president, took over, and they squashed everything down shortly thereafter. So they had their own January 6th type escapade down there in their own country. And then they did try to prosecute his father for, I think it was election fraud, a whole bunch of other things, and he had to flee the country, come back to the United States for a little bit. But yeah, his son's going to run there. So this is going to get interesting out there. Kind of goes on along the lines that we saw with Cuba stepping up and going after their narco-terrorism and wants to do the same thing that El Salvador did with their big giant Epcot criminal prison system that they're running. trying to show up Trump that he's, hey, I'm making a difference down here.
Won't be nice and be a nice change too, Get rid of all these, people doing whatever they want, and then people that are essentially like Mexico, we know, and these other narco countries as well, that they're just completely overran by essentially these butchers that just go around killing people and running the show wherever they are.
Yep. And last thing I got is they have finally come to the conclusion over here for the National Weather Service says a Nino advisory has been issued, which means that we've reached the point where they think, yeah, we're going to get whacked. This thing ain't going away. It's up at the 60% range, but I will point out the 2018 Godzilla El Nino, which was bigger than this one, and the biggest one that was recorded ended up doing nothing. Didn't cause any issues over here in California. But just wanted to throw that out there that they're all talking about El Nino and weather, and yeah, it's going to get interesting for Southern California. And that's all the stories I got out of that box here. Did you guys have anything thrown in our little DM area over there that you guys wanted to throw out? Let me go back through it, see if there's anything we missed.
Just the Carmelo Anthony thing was timing on that with the summer approaching as well.
I mean, that would have some legs on it. I hate to say it. You throw some Hunter Biden out there with some Gavin Newsom doing some presidency.
That's super
thing.
desperate. I don't think that's possible. I think they're teasing. He might be coming out with a meme coin or something. Man, this is too much, though.
I hope so. I'd be so happy if it's a meme coin, to be honest with you.
I can't wait for the commercials. They're going to be epic. Imagine going against him.
That would
Hunter,
not turn out very good.
Come over here. Like, the amount of fun that they could have with some of those, dude, would just absolutely be a blast. Like, oh, what are you snorting over here? Cocaine? No, it's Parmesan.
And the only other thing is the Carmelo Anthony who got basically charged. You talk. I've been talking a while. You can talk about that.
Dude, yeah, this part is great, dude. Carmelo Anthony's family is now forcing him to file paperwork claiming that he's penniless, destitute, and indigent in an effort to obtain free appellate lawyers. Oh, wait, so he needs a lawyer paid for because he wants to appeal the case of stabbing a kid, right? Despite moving into a $900,000 home and purchasing a $150,000 Cadillac Escalade after raising over $600,000. And again, don't go looking for trouble. But obviously the kid had a knife on him if he went and stabbed that other kid. And I think I got the story wrong earlier, Tron, right? I think I said the other kid went into the wrong thing, but he was in the wrong tent and they asked him to leave. And he was like, no, go ahead, move me, see what happens. It's like, because he knew he had a knife in his pocket. Duh. Such a scumbag.
Yep, that's when he pulled out a knife and killed the one gentleman, one of the twins that were out there. They were playing football. But again, they tried to play the Black Lives Matter card. It didn't turn out that way for them. And
no riots. That's the best part. Like, there's nothing. That's it. It's done in 35 years.
The father of the victim over there did come out and finally speak and was ripping the family apart over here because he said, you guys, only he was there. None of the other family members showed up for the victim statement.
But where was Carmelo's father? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Wrong color. And so none of the family members are there for the victim statements or reading of the guilty plea whatsoever. He was left there all by himself. And
dude, it feels like George Floyd 2.0. Like, didn't they take so much money? That family took so much money. They almost were happy, restrained jubilation when that happened. I mean, Floyd was not necessarily a saint. So whatever family members they had, that they cleaned up, man.
Absolute crazy stuff. So yeah, that's a story that would come down, and which means he's probably going to spend life in prison. So that's going down. Anything else we should throw in the show? Anything else we missed?
Well, just more that they're just, the different departments of the government still continue to post out these, locked in, good morning, Patriots are in control, pretty much on a daily basis lately. So I'm loving that as well.
Yay, great show. Recommend everybody go out there, follow us on Twitter, give it a little like, little retweet, go to grab that phone and just go over there and hit the little retweet and like. It would greatly appreciate it out there. I think that's it. I got some stuff set up for Saturday that I set aside that we're going to cover for the Saturday morning show, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out there on Saturday morning. And that's basically all I got. Just going through my list of things, other than the big giant earthquake that happened in the Philippine area, and we'll cover that. A big giant earthquake a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I didn't
over in
even
the
hear about that.
Philippines.
Wow.
They had two, actually. There was a 7.8, and today there was an 8.2. So interesting video that's coming out of there.
Interesting. All right. That
As
is
I go through my list. Oh, and right-wing candidate, Chinese name, is the projected winner of the Peruvian presidential election, overseeing the radical left kind of ideology that they had over there in Peru. So that was the other international thing that came out just recently. And that's all I got. So yeah, elections in Peru.
It's weird. Oh yeah, and just prayer request out there for Belushi's Uncle Sean, guys. Earlier he was in in critical care, a bunch of issues, sepsis among one. So prayers for Belushi's Uncle Sean. And I do have a few people
I want to
to
give.
thank.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Big Philly Q out there who gifted the 1 subscription to the Hulkinator channel. We greatly appreciate you guys over there. And I could say some thank yous out there. For Willie Break It over on the Pilled side gifted the cookie. I appreciate that. Woke and Walked gifted the can.
Mute on my side here while he's talking. Chendrix 1776, thank you for the $17 Rumble rant. Says, where we go one, we go all. God bless. Thank you for that, Chendrix. Twisted Clown dropped a $2 super chat on YouTube. Says, Dave Chappelle, I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Fifth. Anything you say, fifth. And Ryan, I'm probably going to mess this one up. Ryan Osiris dropped a $99 super chat on YouTube. Says, nobody's going to believe any type of shiz at this point. Yep. Yes. No. I was just thanking. I was in the middle of thanking one person here. Ryan, I think it's 3 R's. Ryan Osiris on YouTube dropped a $99 super chat and put a quotations. Nobody is going to believe any type of shiz at this point unless cuffs and bars find their ways to very powerful people for all of us to see. Otherwise, Gordon Duff with Veterans Today called it. I don't know shit, but righteously pissed off. Well, I do appreciate that. And yeah, we are all wanting to see the same thing as well. And I would contend there's tens of millions, if not more, of people out there just like me and you and Hulk and Tron and all the other people in the chat that want to see a lot of change and have been building up and waiting for a lot of change. So I would contend whether the plan goes to play like it's supposed to or not, I think one way or the other, we're going to see some massive change regardless. And the last one over here, Truth Teller Tales. Thank you so much, Ellen. Dropped off, gifted 5 subscriptions to the channel. I'll put her link to her channel out there as well. Truth Teller Tales, where she interviews folks like me, and I think she may have done Tron and Hulk, but other Anons as well out there. So check her out, Truth Teller Tales as well. So that's all from Rumble, and thank you guys for that out there. I can't wait to see what do you think's coming out tomorrow, dude? We got some Friday happenings, or is it going to be a mundane Friday?
I think we're going to get Monday, Friday, because we've got the UFC for Friday or for Sunday. So I think they want to not take away from any of that action, but I'm sure that we'd get back into it, the swing of things coming up next week. And it should get pretty interesting with some of the stuff that they got coming out. So waiting for more information. I'm still waiting for arrest too.
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
I mean, I think you're gonna start seeing, it's gonna be, it's not gonna be like one big thing of arrest. I don't think, anyway. I think you're gonna start seeing, I think you're gonna see a direction for things, and I think we're gonna see that stuff very shortly, very, very shortly. But I can't wait till this weekend to see the fights, dude. I'm pretty souped. And again, I don't want to sound anti-American, but somebody had asked me about it in the chat. It's not going to be a good night for America. Put it this way: on the fights for that night, it ain't going to be a good fight for the Americans, because the main event, we got Justin Gaethje, who's a beast, fighting probably one of the best talents we've seen in a long time. Just knocked out 3 Hall of Famers in a row. And then, oh wait, here we go, 200 Freedom. And then the main event, I don't know which one's the main event. That's the main event. The co-main event has a Frenchman fighting a Brazilian for the heavyweight champion. Then we have an American, Sean O'Malley, who will probably beat the Canadian, Ayman Zahabi. And then Josh Hokett versus Derek Lewis, 2 Americans. And then my guess is Mauricio Huffy is going to make mincemeat out of Michael Chandler, unfortunately. And then 2 Americans fighting. And then this could go either way. These guys are both really good. I don't even want to say Steve Garcia and Diego Lopez, but I'm going to go with the American. Let's go, Steve. But yeah, so we could get 2 wins on that night. But then we got American fighting an American, and like I said, a Brazilian fighting a Frenchman for the heavyweight belt, and then an American's probably going to get mopped up for the main event. But I do hope Justin takes this cocky son of a bitch out. I really do, really do. So yeah. So are we doing it, guys?
What time is this all starting?
This is 8 p.m. So the main card starts at 8 p.m. The preliminaries
would
start
time?
5 p.m. Pacific time, yeah. And the preliminaries would start 3 hours before that, but which we don't really, need to see too much about, because they'll start all of when they do the preliminaries, they come out and they're like, all right, we're live, or we're here. And then when the preliminaries, like TV spots come out, they come out and say we're live. And then when the main event comes out, which we'll all watch, they'll be like, all right, here we are now live for the main event or the main show. You know what I mean? So they started off 3 times essentially, or 2 times.
Yeah. So Tron, are you watching it?
I will definitely watch it. Yes, for sure. We'll do it. We'll figure it out.
I mean, I got my TV right there. Bing, I'll have it.
Mike, get on Sunday and listen to it, at least for you guys. Who knows? You leave a comment in chat if you're going to watch the UFC stuff and if you want to hang out with us.
Should do a
if nobody enters in any comments, then we don't have to worry about it, because they'll give us our own answer. We'll just hang out and talk to ourselves.
Yes. Oh, and just so you guys know, too, if you happen to see anybody's content and say they are running content that they are premium, you can watch that. If you buy premium, I think you can watch anybody's premium. But if you're subscribed to a channel, you can watch anybody's content. So whether you have premium or not, and you're subscribed to my channel, you can watch us play video games anytime.
Yay.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see how this weekend plays out for sure. It's going to be an interesting event, and at the very least, it's going to be a huge event for the country, and we'll see. I would just be on extra, head on a swivel, and I'm sure they are. I'm sure National Guard's there, and they got extra beefy security there.
You said beefy?
Extra beefy security. You got to beef up security, brah. Beef it up.
Speaking of that, was Mr. Tron, what do you got going on tomorrow night? Anything?
Yes, tomorrow night we have Friday Funnies starting at 9 o'clock. Saturday we have Keeping It Wheel, the music show, going at 9 o'clock. We're going a half an hour early to get more music in. And then Sunday morning, of course, Great Awakening Morning Show, 10:30 in the morning. It's going to be a great one. Going through the timeline of all the amazing Patriots are in control, from our Department of War, White House, even Boss and Dan Scavino's, and a lot of Nassoon Dorma's, which is also going to be presented in DC.
I saw that.
Part of that. I guess Milli Vanilli dipped out, so we're going to have Lee Greenwood fill in the. I'd rather listen to Lee Greenwood sing Nassoon Dorma than Christopher Macchio. But either way, looking forward to that as well. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then Saturday night, I guess, or Sunday night, later on, well, it'll be a double header. We'll do something with this UFC. I mean, this thing's going to be incredible. Can't wait.
Definitely going to be interesting out there. Any thank yous you got to throw out there, Tron, or anything else you got to say?
Well, thank you to whoever grabbed the 5-pack of Snickers over at mytronanon.com. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Much love, and thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Yes. Mr. Space Shot, anything else you got to throw out?
No, I'm just showing Truth Teller Tales, Ellen's channel on there, and I'm just showing, it was 3 months ago that I was on Ellen's channel. Truth Teller Tales number 54. I'll drop you guys that link. You guys can listen to that. If you want to hear any stuff about me and how I got into all this stuff, you guys can listen there. But otherwise, other than that, Hulk, no, I'm good to go, baby.
Yeah, so like Space Shot always says,
we do, of course, appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in out there. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Much love. Be good, humans.